I'm Warren, he's Charlie. He can hear, I can see. We work together for that reason. I'd like to make one correction in the movie. My fastball was filmed in slow motion. They tried it the regular way and you couldn't even see it. So time, I would like to introduce the directors to you, and I'll ask them to stand. And if you'll hold your applause until they're all done standing, or you can even hold it after that. They didn't hear the part about stay standing, but that's okay. They're generally fairly obedient, but we do have preliminary earnings figures for the first quarter. There's nothing really very surprising in these numbers, but we'd like to give them to you. They up there okay? Yeah. If you have any questions on these later on, what we're seeing in our businesses is that in what was sort of a sputtering recovery a few months ago seems to have picked up steam in March and April. So in our businesses that kind of serve broad industry, such as the railroad or Marmon or ISCAR, we're seeing a pretty good uptick. It's a long way from where it was a couple years ago, but what was very spotty in the recovery a couple of months ago, the trends really seem a fair amount stronger in the last few months. And we always encourage you to focus on operating earnings. We have the figures there for our investments in derivative businesses. We don't really think they mean anything on a quarterly basis. Obviously, they're meaningful over the years. I mean, we piled up a lot of net worth over the years with capital gains, but in any quarter they mean absolutely nothing. And you'll notice another thing about our report. We don't even put down, we have to when we publish generally, but we don't even put down the earnings per share. We're not focused on that number in any quarter and a year. We're focused on the buildup of value. And we really think that an undue focus on quarterly earnings not only is probably a bad idea for investors, but we think it's a terrible idea for managers. If I had told our managers that we would earn $3.17 for the quarter, they might do a little fudging in order to make sure that we actually came out at that number. And there was a very interesting study that was published a few months ago where thousands of earnings reports were examined. And instead of taking it out to the penny, which is customary in the reporting, they took it out one further digit. And of course, if you go out one further digit and it's 4 or less, you round downward, and if it's 5 or more, you round upward. And they found out that a statistically impossible small number of 4s showed up, because if they got to 0.4%, somehow somebody in the accounting department managed to find another 0.1% so they could round upward. It was not an accident. And you do not want to have, in our view, we think it's terrible practice to be thinking about trying to report to some penny that you've whispered to Wall Street analysts in previous months. And we may probably carry that to extreme at Berkshire, but we always think of the enterprise as a whole. We think about building value. Gains or losses. Charlie may want to weigh in on this one a bit. Charlie?
Well, I agree with you.
Yeah. He is the perfect vice chairman. They don't come any better.